RocSports, I'm back with another video. As you can tell by the title, this is a video on the top 10 fighters in boxing. Regardless of what people want to say about boxing in terms of its overall posts, if that makes sense, like boxing as a whole, like the sport, meaning fighters don't want to fight each other, you know, blah, 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 which is true to a degree. But one thing that we can't ignore, the sport is loaded with young talent, and not just young talent, but talent, period. So again, in this video, I'm about to talk 130, 135, and 140 has a ton of talent. And it's about to be a controversial list, but I'm about to give you 2 honorable mentions and then the top 10 fighters in order. And again, I know it is about to be controversial, but I don't care. This is just my opinion. So, as you can see, first honorable mention. This is where the controversy starts. I already know. I'm putting Keyshawn Davis here already. Yes, I think Keyshawn is legit, man. I know he hasn't done nothing in his pro career. I know he's fresh out of the Olympics with just, you know, a couple of 3 matches before that, you know, that was just keep him active, getting his feet wet type fights. But man, you could just see it, man. He has star written all over him as well. He reminds me of Shakur when Shakur first came out. Like, just everything, the way he's touted, highly touted prospect, all of that, and like the stardom that's around him already. But in terms of his fighting style, defense, angles, footwork, he's got it all, man. He's got it all. He's got power. He's got it all, man. It's not really much to be said. If you don't know about Keyshawn Davis, tune in to him. If you somebody that likes boxers, he's a come forward boxer that's defensively sound, if that makes sense. So he's Shakur like in that way. He's Canelo like in that way. In terms of they still can, you know, a lot of your come forward fighters naturally they don't have good defense. But like I said, he's fresh out of the Olympics. I thought he actually beat Andy Cruz. It was a tough fight. I'm not gonna scream robbery how a lot of people was doing, but it was a tough fight. But Keyshawn Davis is the real deal, and he's gonna be on, you know, he's gonna put the world on notice, the boxing world on notice, who don't know about him, very, very soon. Next up, Oscar Valdez. He's my other honorable mention. Oscar Valdez, man, I like him. I don't like, obviously, the recent accusations and things that came out, and that's very critical. That's something to really consider. Like, if dudes is on banned substances, man, like everything has to be put into question in terms of your career, your skills, everything. You know what I mean? But innocent until proven guilty. I'm still, you know, skeptical about it. Sketchy, some seem fishy about the whole situation. But in terms of Oscar Valdez himself, he's a very entertaining fighter, action-packed fighter. He has power in both hands. He throws for the fences. He's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. I wouldn't say he's elite, but he needed that one credible win, obviously, to really get his name going. And him beating Burchelt was huge. Huge. Him beating Burchelt was huge. I didn't think he was going to beat Burchelt. I'm just going to say it right now. I thought Burchelt was going to knock him out. And that was a hell of a win, man. That was a great performance that he put on. And it's time. It's time that he fights Shakur. Simple. Let me say this, though. It's time for the top 10 list now. I really took my time doing this list, and this is what I honestly feel. With this list, it's not based on accomplishments, all accomplishments. I mean, it is, accomplishments is factored in, but skill for me, star power, resume in a way, if I think you will beat this person, you know, all of that is factored in. And this is what I came up with. But before I give you my list, I want to say I really considered guys in terms of honorable mention. Yo, Tevin Farmers, yo, Jamel Herons, yo, Zapetas. It's a lot of guys, man. It's a lot of guys that's really, you know, that could have went on this list. Obviously, Burchelt himself, Ramirez. It's a couple of guys that could have made this list. But let's get right into it. This is my list. Ryan Garcia comes in at number 10. King Rye himself. So, if this was a popularity contest or a followers contest, Ryan would be number 1 and it wouldn't be close, quite frankly. Between him and Tank, obviously. But it's not. Ryan, I like Ryan. I really do. I like him a lot. I really hope that he can get his mental right. And first off, for the better of himself. But, so he can get back, man. I'm a true fan of Ryan. I think he's great for boxing. Obviously, with his following, he's a good sportsman. And he's exciting. He's exciting to watch. It's okay that he has flaws. Everybody don't have to be a perfect fighter. Ryan Garcia is 23 years old, and he's still learning on the job. But one thing that's for sure, I rate him this low because I just still think he's green. But because of his power and his speed and quickness, I give him a shot. I truly give him a shot. But, like I said, it's time for him to step up. All of these prospects that's on this list, it's a reason why y'all on this list, man. Everybody on this video that I'm sure that's watching this video can agree that y'all talent is out of this world. And it's time for y'all to mix it up. No need to build these fights up no more. We've been talking about building certain fights since 2016, 2017. A lot of these fights, it's time. It's time. I'm not going to single Ryan out by saying that, but I'm gonna get that out the way right now. All of these dudes, I don't need I don't need nobody telling me. I understand all of these dudes, fan bases and they promoters and everything, but it comes to a time when fighters have to win fights, and that goes for every fighter on this list. They have to, it's their careers at the end of the day. It's not the promoter's career, it's their career. Take control of your career. Certain fights should be made, period. But yeah, Ryan Garcia, his biggest win versus Luke Campbell, got up off the canvas, showed a lot, showed true grit, bit down, dug deep for that win. He's a very exciting fighter. Ryan Garcia could get caught, could get dropped, but he could also get his opponent out of there in the first round. At number 9, Jose Ramirez. One of the classiest dudes in the sport. The friendliest guys in the sport. He's a true boxer, man. He's a true Mexican boxer. Kung Fu, Mexican style, gritty boxer. I like Jose Ramirez a lot. I think he's limited, but I think with his power and because of his pressure style, I do think that he's still a live dog. Just because he lost to Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's a hell of a fighter, man. And that's okay. That's okay. That was for undisputed. People forget that. This dude has one loss. Put some respect on his name, man. The performance that he put up against Maurice Hooker, that was one of my favorite fights I ever seen live. Honestly, it was just action-packed. They got it on from round 1. And that was a great fight for the time that it lasted. Not much to say, though. Jose Ramirez at number 10. Next up, at number 8, Primetime himself, a little B-Hop. To me, he's one of the most underrated fighters in the game, without question. He's extremely skilled, man. When you hear fighters try to knock fighters like Wilder, I mean, not fighters, but fans try to knock fighters like Wilder, and, just fighters that slowly rely on power. Well, this is a fighter that you would love in terms of skill. He has all the skills. Very marketable. He's a crowd-pleasing type of fighter. Yes, he don't have a lot of power, but he's still a crowd-pleasing fighter. He's not in there making it look boring. He's trying to style on people, embarrass fighters. His confidence level is very high, man. To me, he's one of those fighters that talk a little too much, or especially when talking about other fighters, like what he says about Wilder a lot, or what he just recently said about Shakur. But he's another one. Like I said, I already said this again. It's time for him to step it up. His biggest win is against King Tug, his last performance, if I'm not mistaken. He has lapses defensively, but again, in terms of skill, he has it all. Lil B-Hop at number 8. At number 7, the legend, the greatest amateur of all time, the master at his craft, Lomachenko, Vasyl Lomachenko, high tech, whatever you want to call him. I got Loma at number 7, man. Loma's a true dog, man. I enjoy watching Lomachenko fight. I never was with the hype train in terms of Loma's the GOAT. You know how the media was trying to hype him. But Loma is for sure the real deal. Just like what I said about Chris Colbert, Lomachenko has all the skills, time, and then some. He'll fight anybody. There's no doubt in my mind about that. The dude had moved up multiple weight classes already and fought the best. He's the wild card of this whole scenario, this whole thing that I'm doing. He could easily beat all of these fighters, with the exception of my number 1 fighter. But I think that he could beat all of these guys for the most part. But with his age and in terms of skill, he can beat all of these guys. I wouldn't pick him to, but everybody know about Lomachenko, man. His only loss recently to Teofimo Lopez, which it was a great tough fight. Loma just started too late, and everybody know that Teofimo's ducking that rematch. Period. Loma at number 7. At number 6, the man that beat the man, Teofimo Lopez, man. Regardless of what you want to say about Teo or Teo, in terms of how he's moving outside of the ring, the dude can fight. He can flat out fight. He has all the skills offensively. He's another fighter. And he also has the most power at 135, in my opinion. And at 130. Teofimo, he's got it all, man. He's one fight away from undisputed because he's not undisputed. He has to fight Devin Haney. But that's a different topic for another day. Teofimo, man, he's number 6. The dude is marketable. Everything that I said about every other fighter, I could say the same about Teo and then some. I just want to see him again. I just want to see him completely mix it up with the rest of those guys. It seems like as if Teo, he's on a high pedestal now. He's put himself on a high pedestal now, and he looks at it as if him beating Lomachenko was just a career sealer. And his career's over, and he's already a Hall of Famer, and he just seems very content. But in terms of him in the ring, he has it all. If you love a flashy fighter as well with power, Teo's your guy. More controversy. Number 5, I have Devin Haney. Now, you can easily put Devin Haney at number 7. I wouldn't be upset. Have Teo number 5 and Loma 6. I wouldn't be upset. But again, this is my opinion. In my opinion, Devin Haney is better than Teofimo Lopez. If Devin Haney fought Teofimo Lopez now, in 3 years, in 5 years, I would pick Devin Haney to beat Teofimo Lopez. Same with Lomachenko. Does that mean he will win? No, but that's just my opinion. That's just what I think. Devin Haney, the youngest of the bunch. New money, new Floyd, unlimited potential, man. People talk about, you notice nobody says nothing about Devin Haney, but he don't have power. Nobody says nothing else about him in terms of his skills, him willing to fight anybody, none of that, because you can't. The dude he's a model citizen. You don't ever hear his name in no junk unless it's with females on the shade room. Devin is the real deal, man. It's just all a matter of opportunity for him. Again, if he got the opportunity that Teo got, how would we look at the two? Probably would just be opposite. You know what I mean? But yeah, in my opinion, he's top 3 defensive fighter in the game. Devin's the real deal. Devin at number 6. At number 5. Rugaroo. I'm got Regis at number 4, man. Regis Prograis is number 4. He's one of the most avoided fighters, along with Devin Haney and a couple others in boxing. Period. Don't nobody want to fight this dude. You hear a lot of people talk about the lack of skill with Regis and, the lack of resume, blah, blah, blah. Again, fight him. I don't understand. He only lost to Josh Taylor, who's undisputed. Did Josh Taylor do to Regis what he did to Jose Ramirez? Absolutely not. And he had that fight, Josh Taylor that is, he had that fight in his hometown, on his neck, in his neck of the woods. If that fight was in the States, Regis might have got the nod. But Regis is 26-1 with 22 knockouts, man. He's one of the most exciting fighters in boxing, in my opinion. He has power in both hands. He's very awkward, and he's a dog, man. You don't hear people. I have yet to hear anybody call his name out. You would think that Regis haven't fought anybody, or that he's unproven, that he don't want to fight anybody, that he can't fight anybody, that he's with the wrong promotion team. No, none of that. People just don't want to fight him, man. He's too much of a high risk. And I can't even say low reward, because whoever fights him and beats him, especially if you dominate him, you're going to get a lot of credit. But whatever. Regis at number 4, man. If I had to pick who's most likely to succeed on this list, from 1 through 12 meaning including the 2 honorable mentions, I'm picking number 5 and number 3, man. At number 3, I got Shakur Stevenson, man. None other than himself, man. This dude has the best distance, like measured distance, the best in boxing, man. I don't care what nobody says. Shakur is a master at distance. His footwork, his defense, inside game, everything, man. He's just a complete fighter. There's nothing that I can't say about Shakur. Except maybe you could just say you would want him to take more risks. But what he did to Jamel Herring, nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. You might have thought that Shakur would have won the fight, or that he would have even won convincingly. But you didn't think that he was going to beat Jamel Herring up like that. Even when he got it in all facets of the game. Whether he was on the ropes, in the center of the ring, coming forward, inside work, it didn't matter, man. This dude is a complete fighter, and I think, again, just like you could say about so many of these dudes on this list, I think that he would beat every fighter on this list. Yep. He's the real deal. Shakur is just getting started. Coming in at number 2, Gervonta Tank Davis, man. One thing we can't deny, he's the biggest star on this list without question. Without question, he's one of the biggest stars. There's only a few boxers that stardom is bigger than his in the sport. You can count on one hand. If we talking power and being explosive, he's the most explosive on this list, without question. Tank get hit, but I've seen him be defensively oriented, defensively responsible in fights. I've seen it. Tank can do it all, man. Offensively, defensively, he can do it all. He's definitely an offensive first fighter, and which causes him to get hit sometimes. But it's going to be very interesting to see when he step up and fights the likes of Prograis and Taylor and Teofimo and Devin, how he's going to, switch it up. Because he could just get away with being Tank right now, but let's really see him be great. Tank coming in at number 2, man. That only leaves one. This is a very talented list. Very talented. But he gets his credit in terms of pound for pound status, but just how good he is, I don't think he get enough credit, man. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. He's also a complete fighter. Josh Taylor is the best fighter from 140 on down. I don't see nobody that can beat him right now. Does that mean he will lose? No. But again, I don't see nobody that can beat him right now from 140 on down. I thought Regis got the nod slightly, like I said. So maybe Regis. But I wouldn't be, I'm not upset with nobody saying that he's better than Regis because he beat him, regardless of how I feel. Josh Taylor, man, he's a hell of a fighter, man. He's a hell of a fighter. And he's a dog. Inside, can fight on the inside, can fight at range. He's got levels to his game, man. Tank, I just think Tank's too small. Yes, he has the power, but I just think Tank's too small to beat Josh Taylor, as well as the rest of these guys on his list. I don't know how they do it. But I know this is a very long video, very controversial video. But if you lasted this long, I really appreciate it. I just wanted to have fun with this video, man. I wanted to do a controversial video, and I felt like I did that. So here's another look at it. Top 10 fighters from 130 all the way up to 140. And yeah, tell me what you think. This is RocSports I'm checking out. Stay tuned for the next videos. All of my boxing, NFL, and NBA fans, like, share, and subscribe, man. Keep coming back. I'm going to be dropping more content.